Here on 90.3 Near FM, the EMC Podcast Network, and on all good podcasting providers, welcome to another edition of The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide. With your host, as always, Dave Cullen, joined by the man who will be Jordan Devlin's possible replacement at WrestleRama, Daragh Maher. How are you this afternoon? And where the hell did that come from, by the way?
I'm not as good as I thought it would be on a Friday, heading into a bank holiday weekend. I thought I'd be happy. But the prospect of having to step in for Jordan to face Walter.
To face Walter?
Or Walter.
Well,
I don't want to.
In gentleman's English, Walter.
I don't want to piss him off before the match even starts. So I'm going to pronounce it the way it should be pronounced, Walter.
Walter. What, do you think he'll chop you that much harder because you've mispronounced his name?
Of course he would.
You seem very worried.
Come on.
Your head.
Of course you. It's the equivalent.
Well, here's the thing.
It's the equivalent of a jobber going in against Andre the Giant. Come on.
It's a squash match. Well, you shouldn't make it main events then.
Well,
if you know it's going to be a squash.
I don't know where the match is going to be.
Well, let's put this.
I don't have a choice.
Well, let's put it this way. We've been on holidays now for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. My sunburn just only healed.
Yeah, you've gone. You're red. You're red. Now you're
redder
white.
Than you.
That's not possible. I don't know, but then again, like I've seen his results of chops lately, and it's not pretty.
No,
like the bruises he gave Sean Guinness, for example.
You can go. You can throw Terry Thatcher in there. He loves getting a red chest.
I don't know.
Look, every match we've seen him in the last while, it's like a bullseye.
Yeah, but that's true. But you feel sorry for him after so many times, like
Of course. I'd rather feel sorry for someone than feel immense pain.
Well, anyway, I just wish you luck if that's really the case. Now we should explain, so we mentioned why you might be a possible replacement because of for Jordan Devlin. Why is that exactly?
It's not. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, just to give people an idea, so.
But
we just heard
Southside Wrestling released a statement on Friday,
right?
Saying that El Ligero or Ligero, whichever one you want to call him,
mm-hmm.
and Joseph Connors have been pulled from their upcoming event due to the fact that the show takes place 1 week before a batch of the WWE UK show tapings.
Right.
And anyone on the WWE UK contract must state in their contract then that if there's a show, you cannot do a show a week beforehand.
Right.
I'm guessing that won't stand for every promotion. I'm thinking it's the ones that they aren't friendly with.
So you're saying like OTT would be very much affected by this then?
There's a possibility because WrestleRama is a week before a batch of UK tapings as well.
Right.
So Jordan, of course, has that contract.
Right.
So it would suck because it is such a highly anticipated match.
Yeah, but keep in mind of this as well. Joseph Connors and El Ligero, do you know by fact that any of these guys are high in the card in that Southside Wrestling show?
Doesn't matter
like
if
Jordan
they're on the card anyway.
Well, here's Jordan, who's the champion of this promotion. Surely that would be worth the exception, regardless of the standards.
They are the tag team champions at Southside Wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's not
and they were meant to be defending their titles.
That's not good at all then, so I have to wait and see what happens there.
So a champion meant to defend their titles got pulled from a card. Jordan's a champion.
We'll have to see what happens. Have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the meantime, we're coming to you from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, bringing you the latest action from the world of professional wrestling. We'll be talking about the latest news. We'll be reviewing the past week's action. We'll have a brief chat about World of Sports that just happened. Its first episode took place last weekend.
Mm-hmm. A lengthy chat about Phoenix.
Indeed, Phoenix Wrestling. It's the first show took place last weekend. We'll give you a full review over that. So we'll give a brief summary of the G1 so far, at least the last week of action. We haven't really talked about it at all.
We're both doing quite well in that prediction.
Yeah, it's true. We were away. We've been away last 2 weeks since it started, but we were both parts of the. Yeah, and we're both part of the Lobos Prediction League for Japan. We're second and third at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was second for a while. Now you're second. Then I was second for a day, and now you're second again.
Oh, really? It's back and forth, is it?
It is back and forth.
Cool. We'll also
healthy competition.
Indeed. We'll also be giving you the latest previews coming up from the likes of OTT and Low Blows. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
Well, unfortunately, it's been a very sad week for news. Therefore, I put the music down to start here.
To be fair, last Sunday in general was a pretty bad day.
It was. We're going to start with news, obviously, concerning the first of two sad deaths that happened last weekend. 3 deaths. Well, this one in particular anyway. So, we're former WWF Tag Team Champion, a memorable 1980s wrestling villain Nikolai Volkoff, real name Josip Nikolai Peruzovic, passed away last Sunday at the age of 70. A former weightlifter in Yugoslavia, Volkoff was trained by Stu Hart and formerly found his way to Vince McMahon Sr.'s Worldwide Wrestling Federation as Bipo Mongol, and won the tag team title while managed by Captain Lou Albino. He would leave the organization in 1971 and eventually return under the name Nikolai Volkoff, feuding with Bruno Sammartino for the WWF title. His most well-known run in mainstream wrestling fans was in the mid-1980s with the Iron Sheik, managed by Freddie Blassie, where they won the tag team titles once, and later Volkoff became a singles wrestler using his Russian heel gimmick in feuds with the likes of Hulk Hogan. He would remain in the company until 1995, until he went into semi-retirement. He would randomly appear in throwback editions of WWE Raw through the year. He leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. It's sad news, obviously, with Volkoff in particular, because he's one of the, like, when WWE was really becoming a thing, he was one of the mainstream heels, if you like. So
yeah, exactly. And something that I never told you, Dave, actually, about, but Nikolai Volkoff was actually one of the wrestlers that actually got me first interested in wrestling. Because when I was younger, just a wee babby, I had a wrestling videotape, and it was like 3 of Hulk Hogan's matches, and one of them was his 1985 match at Saturday Night Main Event against Nikolai Volkoff for the WWE Championship, or WWF Championship it was called then, sporting white trunks that Hulk never normally did as well. It's a tape that I watched over and over and over and over again.
Was Volkoff wearing the red trunks?
Of course he was, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, incidentally, what other matches was on that tape?
It was Hogan against the Iron Sheik.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then it was a cage match between Hulk and Andre the Giant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Was that like when Andre was still a face?
No, he was a heel.
No, he was a proper heel.
Yeah, he was a heel.
Okay. And obviously, yeah, like, it is sad. Like, like, in a way, like, he was like, his character is perfect in the sense though, where like his was during one of the heights, but if you like, towards the end of the Cold War.
Yeah.
Like where he was representing the Soviet Union. Like, I think towards the end he was like, well, we can all get along, because I think he eventually sported an American flag with the Soviet flag on his trunks. But it's a sad death all the same. Like, so, but unfortunately that wasn't the only death that happened this week as well.
Yeah. Brian Christopher, also known as Brian Christopher Lawler, passed away at the age of 46. Christopher had pronounced brain dead on Sunday after being found hanging from his jail cell at Hardeman County Jail in Tennessee. A family friend reported that they were waiting for Jerry Lawler to come to the hospital to say goodbye before Christopher's life support was pulled. Christopher was arrested for a DUI on July 7th after failing to immediately stop when police tried to pull him over. He was being held on a $40,000 bond. His father and a family friend had been working on getting him to a rehab centre, but Christopher didn't know when he was going to be released from prison. After starting his career 16 under a mask in Tennessee, Christopher joined the WWF in 1997. He went on to hold the WWF Tag Team titles once with Scotty 2 Hotty in 2000, of course, as part of the popular Team 2 Cool.
Yeah, like I think this death in particular, certainly for Irish fans, certainly for people of our age, this one hit home more in particular.
This definitely did, yeah.
Not only because of how popular he was with Too Cool, but probably the way he died as well. Like, that really hit home. And a lot of people, especially wrestling fans, especially ones who may have mental illnesses themselves, like have been pleading more on social media about like how mental health is really important, like, you know. So, and certainly in this case where, you know, like where he attempted to take his life, and like it unfortunately ended up dying as a result.
Yeah.
You know, like it's something like this that helps. That like, although I hate to think that something like this creates more awareness, it shouldn't. But you know, we see what happens, and it makes you see, you know, like how fragile like mental health can be. Like, you know.
I totally agree. Unfortunately, this is also a sort of not a continuation. Continuation is a bad word, but it's a symptom of wrestling, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s, where it was living on the road a lot, and a lot of wrestlers then drank and took a lot of drugs to help get them through their tough schedules. Living on the road and stuff, and wrestling every night gave them something to do. When the wrestling wasn't taken away, they didn't know what to do, so the drink and drug abuse got worse.
That happens to a lot of athletes in general when you think about it. It's like, maybe, you know, like the difference I reckon with WWE is that, like, you know, well, they're on the road all the time, as opposed to athletes, let's say in American sports, where they wouldn't know what to do when they're retired. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
there's not a lot of avenues for athletes, especially back then. There wasn't a lot of avenues for them to go. A few of them might get lucky enough where they're kept on by a promotion for, I don't know, commentary duty, or, you know, to be a producer or a booker or something like that.
Right.
Some went and continued on the circuit for a while. I know Brian Christopher did too, doing the odd day here and there, but nowhere near the schedule that they would have had at the height of their powers. And then some might have just gone and opened a wrestling school, perhaps, or just to try and pass on their knowledge. But unfortunately, there is a good number of wrestlers that unfortunately had nothing. And it's
there still is out there as well. Like, we see cases, let's say, over the last few years, so we covered the news, guys like Perry Saturn, for example, where he was like, look, he tried to make a what was it called again, GoFundMe accounts to try and help him.
A GoFundMe,
yeah, something
to
like
help
that.
his medical bills.
That's it, yeah. So
yeah, there was also, of course, the case of Jake Roberts, Scott Hall. You know, we would have seen.
Yeah.
We would have seen in that DDP documentary.
Yeah. Well, let's try and go out with, like, thinking of the positives of Brian Christopher, because
he was like I was mentioning on the previous story, how Volkoff was kind of an indirect influence on. Well, no, he was a direct influence on my love.
He was one of the first wrestlers you ever watched.
One of the first I ever watched, and like Too Cool were one of the first tag teams that I loved watching growing up,
because those moves that they do, like, you never see, like even in today's wrestling, you don't really see anything like that anymore.
Something as simple as a pair of sunglasses turning Rikishi into this dancing
not
machine.
even that, but like, you notice the team moves where they use the arms and all these dancing moves, the smallest little move that makes it like so much more fun to watch, like almost makes it more of a dance, if you know what I mean. And that's what they did so good. So when they were at the top, when they had that run with the tag titles, like when they're feuding with the likes of the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, the Hardys, like, so they were a part of that. Maybe like
they probably weren't the most gifted tag team at the time, but they were. But what they made up for their lack of probably ability, they made up with their charisma and personality. Certainly,
I'd say they're probably very underrated in terms of that era of tag team wrestling. When you consider, like, when they're against teams like Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Hardys, and, you know, their run was probably smaller than those tag teams, but at the same time, it doesn't take away how memorable it was as well. So, because it was, like, there wasn't a match where we didn't laugh, like, watching, like, you know. It was so much fun. So, obviously, we here in the Kick Out want to send our condolences to both Nikolai Volkoff and Brian Christopher's families at this difficult time. But we'll move on in the meantime. We'll put the music back up for this one now. A big news in the political arena for one Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, who is going to be now the next mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. Several local media outlets have projected Jacobs to defeat Democrat Linda Harney after taking a 66.56% to 33.44% lead in early and absentee voting.
Well, that is actually confirmed. It was confirmed last night that he is actually the now mayor-elect.
After barely coming out ahead of the May Republican primary, Jacobs was expected to easily win this election. He was declared victor, as you mentioned yesterday on Thursday, where Harney was waiting for the full results to come in. He'll begin term now Jacobs as mayor on September 1st. Of course, Jacobs returned to WWE television during the general election campaign, teaming with Daniel Bryan in the program against the Bludgeon Brothers. Their feud lasted only a few weeks and culminated with Rowan and Harper retaining the SmackDown tag titles at Extreme Rules on July 17th, and Jacob was limited at the pay-per-view due to suffering an Achilles tendon injury on TV. Her opponents, Harney criticised Jacobs for still wrestling while the campaign was going on, while Jacobs replied that his schedule was just random, and it wasn't different than any other job he had, and that it didn't have an impact on his preparation. He told the Knoxville News Sentinel that last month that he may be doing a few special things with WWE after becoming mayor. So
they will have to do a mayor gimmick. They'd have to.
They should have him. Well, the thing is, though, we'd be able to do like a mayor gimmick whilst he's on, whilst he has
big red machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if he was corporate Kane, would that make more sense?
Nope.
No. How would that work?
Mayor Big Red Machine. Mayor Big Red.
Yeah. Even have like a campaign.
When he came up to his podium to do a speech after he was declared the victor,
What?
the music was Kane's entrance music.
Figures. To be fair, there's no finer music.
True.
Again, but imagine if he really was mayor as Kane. Can you imagine how scary that would be?
Oh, wear the mask like all the time.
Not only that, like anyone who says something he just goes against, he'll light the table on fire by just pointing
Can't
at
afford
it.
the pyro. It's okay. It's fine.
You what?
Can't afford the pyro. Sorry. That's where all the that's where the budget for the whole year is going. the whole city budget is going on Kane getting pyro wherever he walks into.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Do the mayors affects the budget in a city?
Well, of course, they have to look after the budget. Yeah.
I suppose. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe, well, he can just bring his salary into from WWE, just pay for it that way. Then again, they're expensive, but it's according to WWE anyway. Anyway, move on in the meantime. Some updates concerning the Mae Young Classic coming up.
Yes, 3 more participants have been announced to the Mae Young Classic for 2018, with only 5 wrestlers left to be confirmed. The WWE added Hiroo Matsumoto, Ariel Monroe and Vanessa Craven to the lineup for the tournament. The tapings will take place at Full Sail University on August 8th and 9th, with the finals being held at the WWE Evolution pay-per-view in Long Island, New York on October 28th. Here is the updated 2018 Mae Young Classic lineup. Catlin, obviously former WWE star, Rhea Ripley,
right?
Lo Shirai,
Yeah, Irish
Lo Shirai, yeah. Nicole Matthews, Ginny, Casey Catanzaro, Denoa Pozzaro. I can never get her name.
No, you got it right there.
Tegan Knox, also formerly known as Nixon Newell, Jesse Elaban, Rena Gonzalez, Tainara Conti, who won a qualifying match at NXT TV tapings, Maya Yim, Mercedes Martinez, Kavita Devi, Killer Kelly, Jesus, Isla Dawn, Lainey Lane, Karen Q, Tony Storm, like we said, Miko Satomura, Madison Rain, announced as Ashley Rain, of course, the former Impact Knockouts champion.
Yeah, of course.
Priscilla Kelly, Zaya Brookside, Hiroo Matsumoto, Ariel Monroe, and like we said, Vanessa Craven.
Fair play, it's a mouthful to pronounce all those
it
names
is a
properly.
mouthful to pronounce.
It's shaping up. The tournament's shaping up very nicely now. So there's a few surprising names like here and there, like we've seen Zaya Brookside before in Wrestler for OTT before, and she's obviously a former PW champion. Like, you know, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to be in there, but I'm thinking, that's an interesting choice.
Well,
like,
her dad's a head trainer in NXT.
That's kind of true. Like, I didn't want to speculate, but like,
Her dad's a head trainer in NXT.
Now we know one lady who isn't going to be in the tournaments. That's Jazzy Galberts, who recently announced on Twitter that she's still recovering from her injuries, I think. But she wishes all the ladies luck. But like, imagine how class it would have been if she was there again, because she was one.
She's still recovering from neck surgery. So
yeah.
But no, you know, there's still 5 names to be announced. Any speculation on who you think the 5 names could be?
I can't even guess. Like, to be fair, from a European standpoint, who would you like to say? Like, if it was anyone else?
Obviously, your heart will go straight to home and think
See,
Karen, session bar.
well, the thing is with Martine is that she's very busy in Japan at the moment. She's she's still in the books with them at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if
Well, it's not an exclusive deal.
true, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'd like to maybe see Viper back.
Well, Viper's involved in World of Sports.
She is. You're right.
Yeah,
Actually, so it's not going to work.
Yeah, same with Kaylee Ray and B Presley.
After seeing her at Defiant, now this is American, but
Okay.
Jordan Grace.
Oh, good call. That's a great call, actually. Yeah, speaking of which, Jordan Grace, she was announced for the Defiance 2 show coming up.
Has been, yeah.
We'll give you more details as that gets closer, but there's a few good matches, international matches announced for that.
Yeah.
Like,
any others for you?
oh, I honestly don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head. It's like you know,
I'll bring Kaylee Ray back.
No, again, Kaylee Ray is part of the World of
She
Sports,
is, yeah.
so I don't know.
That World of Sports is becoming problematic.
Well,
No, it's not at all. It's not at all.
what it is.
It's from all I've heard.
It's one
fantastic.
it's one part of the world where they have a harder time. Big deal.
Yeah.
Like WWE, if their scouting's as good as they claim it is, you shouldn't have a problem.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I honestly don't know. I'll have to see what happens with the next 5 names. It could be someone we are very familiar with, someone we may never heard of. Like, we'll have to see what happens there. We move on in the meantime. Speaking of shows building up, the All In show is starting to take shape now, which is a month away. Another match that was announced in this week's episode of Being the Elite. It was confirmed that Rey Mysterio and the Young Bucks plans have been confirmed for All In, where Mysterio will be teaming up with Felix and Bandido to take on the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi in a 6-man tag. Felix teaming with Mysterio and Bandido means that Pentagon Jr. will be in a different match at the event. Kenny Omega isn't teaming with neither Ibushi or the Young Bucks. That's a match that could happen right there.
Mm-hmm.
Omega and Pentagon.
Could.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
So far,
Well, you get the chance to.
Absolutely. So far, it's been announced that Kazuchika Okada will take on Marty Scurll. Cody Rhodes will be challenging for Nick Aldis's NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and Hangman Page will take on Joey Janela. The show will be taking place at the Sears Center Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, on September 1st. So it's getting good. Like, you know, like it's hard to anticipate in a way. Like, the Being the Elites thing keeps you in track with that because it has enough of an audience where, you know, people still keep saying, "Oh, wonder what's going to happen next. Wonder what match is going to be on there." So
they're doing a fantastic job with the. Also, just before we actually get into that, you know who haven't been announced yet, and they have a problem with Bullet Club at the moment?
Flip Gordon.
No,
No,
that's obvious.
Yeah, who else?
The Tongas.
The Tongas. Yeah, you mean the firing squads? I feel like.
Yeah.
Would they be? Well, the thing is, do they do many shows in America, or at least outside of California?
No, they know.
Outside of the West Coast.
Unless New Japan are going there, they don't.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare that
I think they're settled there in Japan.
That's the thing. Like, the very furthest would be like the West Coast, but like this is in Chicago, so, or near Chicago, if you like. So I don't know.
We'll go back to the previous point with Being the Elite. Yeah, they're All In is sort of tying in with Being the Elite web series, also with the 10 Pounds of Gold NWA web series that's going on as well, and also they have an All Us web series going on too. So all these three together are really helping build up a lot of hype for the event. And did you see the Cody Rhodes thing during? I think it was during the week.
Yeah, this whole thing that you see that he's may or may not be running for election, like it's kind of all over the place.
No,
not that.
No. Outside of Being the Elite.
No idea.
A fan tweeted him and said, Cody, I bought 2 tickets for Being the Elite, but I just realised I can't afford flights and everything like that.
Right.
I'm not going to give up the tickets. I'm happy that I could have helped in some way to make
Nice.
your dream possible. And then Cody just says, how much have you got? Or like, what's your email address? How much have you got? I see if I can help out.
Oh.
Then he sent another tweet that says, check your bank account. I'm after putting a little something in there. Can't wait to see you at the show.
Oh, how possible.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
And especially like the thing with Cody is like, you know, like obviously he's probably one of the most hated men in wrestling this year, but at the same time, you know, you sort of see his compassion side in the way, especially when it was almost when the tickets went on sale first and he was so nervous.
Yeah.
So you see hints of that as as the show gets closer, and when little random acts of kindness like that, like it goes a long way, like, you know.
Exactly, it does. Obviously, he plays the heel, and he plays the heel very well.
Incredibly
And I think
well.
he plays the heel so well that it thwarts some people's views on what sort of person he's really like.
That's natural. Like that's people's perception of wrestling.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He plays the heel so well that that's what it does. But like outside of wrestling, he seems to be one of the nicest guys that there is, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so and the show's getting closer now. I wonder will it actually did you know if it's going to be streamed yet? After you finish your yawn.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, obviously at Wrestle Kingdom, the Bucks went and spoke to Don Callis after the match, saying, "What are you doing September 1st? We want you to commentate."
Oh, it's a good point. There'd be no reason to commentate.
Why?
So.
Yeah, there'd be no reason to commentate if you weren't recording it in some way or streaming it in some way.
Yeah, so I have to see what happens. So it's exciting to see what happens with it. Anyway, moving on with news concerning Rich Swann this week.
Yeah,
I forgot to change. It's good news actually.
Yeah.
No offense.
Though the exact length wasn't disclosed, Impact announced on Twitter on Monday that Rich Swann has signed a long-term contract with the promotion. We are absolutely delighted to announce that At Gotta Get Swann has signed a long-term contract with Impact Wrestling. Swann made his Impact Wrestling in June. Was supposed to was supposed to be in action at Slammiversary this month, but a concussion that he suffered on Thursday night before the pay-per-view kept him from wrestling. Tessa Blanchard also signed a 2-year contract with Impact earlier this month, while Eli Drake agreed to a new multi-year deal in June.
You get the sense that Impact are slowly but surely finding their way again.
I don't think it's slow at all.
But well, what I mean by slow is
they're coming back. Like, did you watch Slammiversary?
I haven't. No, you did a tweet-a-thon for it, like on our Twitter page.
Well, until I fell asleep, it did anyway. It was fantastic.
Really,
it was a brilliant show.
Well, the thing is, I think because of the whole like BS of TNA before, maybe that makes fans reluctant to get back into it, and I understand.
I think the problem with TNA beforehand, especially towards the end, was that they were this small company trying to be this big company. You know, they're trying to go and have the production levels of WWE and stuff, but they couldn't compete with it, obviously. Since Don Callis has come over, Dave, it's not that he's told hard truths. He told them basically that
be realistic.
You have to be realistic in what we can do. So they're going to these smaller arenas and they're making them look jam-packed, that people want to be there, which is genius on their part. It's a fresh new look on it. The wrestlers are actually getting paid as well, which is good. And they're getting like these indie talents, and they're not trying to like keep them away from other people. They're trying to get decent working relationships going with other promotions too, which is the important
like
thing.
New Japan, like
Ring of Honor. And I know it's not a wrestling promotion, but the Cruise of Jericho as well, they're working with too.
Well, it's a thing. It's a thing.
They're making allies everywhere, which will then help them further down the road.
Yeah.
So I think what Don and the rest of his team are doing down there is fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do, because Bound for Glory is in October, and they announced it's going to be in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Now, do you think they'll be involved in that now? Or at least have some sort of way with being involved. If it's
actually
New
in
Japan,
Madison Square Garden. I don't think it is.
Ring of Honor and New Japan. That's Madison Square Garden.
No, that's no. That's
is this a different show altogether?
Impact.
Impact at Madison Square Garden.
No, that's what I'm checking. I'm checking that.
I have no idea. First I've heard of it. While you check that,
I know they're in New York. They're in New York in September for Bound for Glory.
Okay. There's no way that's a Madison Square Garden, would it be?
I don't think so.
Nah, no.
I don't think it is.
Maybe the Hammerstein Ballroom or someone like that, or...
No, it's not. I don't think so. Is it the Hammerstein?
I reckon it would be.
Beep boop boop.
I'm such my arse off at the moment.
Beep boop boop. I'm just trying to find it.
You can tell we're just back from our holidays, can't you?
No. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, like, you know.
Okay, so I have it there. Sorry.
Right, go on.
I have it there. So it's coming in October.
Name of the venue, please.
Melrose Ballroom, in New York City.
No, right. It's probably
5 minutes from downtown Manhattan. It has a capacity of 1,200 people.
That sounds like Hammerstein Ballroom, actually. Probably is.
You probably renamed it.
Here's the thing now, because of the recent improvements of Impact, do you think we could cover it on our show?
I think the pay-per-views could be something we could cover for sure. Maybe not the
Maybe not the
weekly
week to
show.
week. Yeah, that'd be the same as Ring of Honor. Like,
Yeah.
as good as that is, we wouldn't have the time for it.
No,
so.
we wouldn't.
But the big shows we can keep an eye on for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Speaking of shows that are coming up recently, let's talk about World of Sport for a minute. Now, it's part of our news, but we wanted to just have a chat with it, like, you know, because it's first time back now with the show last weekend. You haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to have to give you a bit of a commentary about it, like, but what I like about it is this, like, I put the music, the thing is with it is, like, there's mixed criticism because of maybe the production of it, like, but I think they've learned from their last experience. Because here's the thing.
What were the criticisms in terms of
Well,
production?
I don't know. I think people were probably thinking that it's so that like that the way it was booked and stuff like that. But I'm like, listen, it's for families.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the type of wrestling that you're gonna expect from this. It's
family friendly.
It's a family friendly show, so it's not gonna be. So if like I can understand maybe the hardcores.
Yeah.
Being thinking, well, you know, but at the end of the day, it's not for them. It's for everybody, you know.
Yeah.
Like Raw to an extent, like believe it or not. But I enjoyed it. Like, there's a really good match, for example, between Will Ospreay and Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Where Ospreay played, like, although he does his usual shtick, he played like the resilience face, if you like.
Yeah.
But both were faces in the end, and they had guys like God, I don't know all their names. Like some of them have different names from all of them. But you had like Justin Sysum, who I think is what's his name? Josh Bodum, I think. Remember him from Rev Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's his name on that, I think. And had Adam Maxted, of course, from Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
Rampage and Shah Samuels involved in to decide the number one contender for Grado's championship, which was won eventually by Rampage. Or no, it was won by Sysum, but Rampage beat the count. It was like some sort of count out win, I think, where Max Ted was counted out.
Okay.
But Shah Samuels got into the ring just in time.
Yeah.
And that made a triple threat match then, which Rampage won. So he's now the new champion, which I think is interesting now to have a heel champion going to the new series.
I think it's the right thing to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're also starting the tag team tournament as well, where Reese and Kip Sabian defeated Joe Henry and Martin Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to have a match every week now. They're also going to have a women's championship match next week as well.
Yeah, I think they're having some sort of ladder match as well next week.
I have no idea what that's about. A ladder match involving something. It could be like another match in the tag tournaments. But the women's match is between Viper, Kaylee Ray, and B. Presley to be the first women's champion. So should be interesting anyway. So like we won't keep track of that, like, really, but we'll it's but something we still recommend. Like if you're listening to this and maybe looking for a family solution to watch on TV, that's perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. We can't go wrong with that anyway. On that note, we'll take a break. When we
or you
return,
can listen to the show.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think you should listen to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, we'll take a break anyway. When we return, we will first half we'll talk about our results of the week, starting off with a bit of a summary of the G1 Climax, and then we'll get into our review with Phoenix Wrestling. We're after a short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide. So let's continue on our show with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
We're going to first talk about our rundown of the week's action from the G1 Climax.
Put it on there!
Well, first of all, we've been gone for the last 2 weeks, so we haven't really had a chance to even look at the G1 recently, because it started when we started our first 2 weeks off. So this is really our first time looking at it, but at least now we can have a bit of an assessment of everything going on from here.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the last few matches of the week, what have you thought of the G1 in general so far?
Really enjoyed it.
It's good, but it's strange in some places as well, isn't it?
Well, the firing squad thing I've not been really enjoying too much, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, like there's been occasions, I think almost every single one of Tama Tonga and Balak Fale's matches has interference now.
Yeah. I haven't enjoyed it at all.
There's a degree why I understand why they're doing it. Mainly because like those guys in particular,
Yeah.
Tonga and Fale, They were the original Bullet Club OGs when they helped Prince Devitt go undefeated, winning the Best of Super Juniors. Only second man to do so.
Yeah.
So, but this is a different motive where they're actually not helping him win. They're just, it's a don't give an F attitude.
Yeah.
Which I'm struggling to get.
I'm struggling to get to. Like the reason why they're doing this is they're fed up with the Bullet Club. But like I can understand if you were interfering in matches against Bullet Club members. But you're doing it against everyone. You're only hampering your chances. Like, why would you bother being in the G1 then if you wanted to do that?
Simply just to cause damage. Simply just to.
Well, if you wanted to cause damage, you didn't have to be in the G1. You could just
but I think the motive is where he just tries to aggravate.
I think the angle would have worked better if none of them were in the G1.
Right.
And at random points they just came out.
Yes, but maybe they're just trying to intentionally disrespect the tournaments, because it's the tournaments that they pride themselves in honor. Like anything Japanese, like honor's a big thing for Japanese people. Because none of these guys they are going to take the opposite route, and they're going to disrespect it by intentionally getting disqualified, not giving a damn about the authority. Well, speaking of the authority aren't really doing much about it. There's no Jake Mavericks in Japan.
Apart from
there's no Jake Mavericks in Japan.
There is no Jake Mavericks in Japan, but there is a Red Shoes.
There's a Red Shoes, and that's it. The Red Shoes is willing to fight back.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's it. But the rest of them have no control.
Yeah.
So that's other talking points about the G1 so far. Kazuchika Okada now has been a very different person since he lost the heavyweight championship.
He's cracked.
He's literally broken Okada.
He's watched it too many times.
He's gone from the Rainmaker to the Balloon Maker now. So it's interesting because you wonder. Like, I'm intrigued by it. It's sort of similar to. It reminds me a bit of Naito.
Okay.
Because Naito, he had a very huge character change when he felt he was disrespected by New Japan. He came back from excursion in CMLL. No, it's different circumstances.
Yeah.
But he came back all tranquilo with a different attitude. Now, this is Okada now, who's probably coming out of the most successful run of New Japan Pro Wrestling's history.
Yeah.
And now he's probably so lost as a result of it now.
Well, like, he doesn't know how to live without it. That's how I see it. He's had the title for so long. Like, it was over 500 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It becomes a part of you, and when you lose such an integral, important part of yourself, you're lost. And I can understand where that's coming from.
Yeah.
It brought losing the title broke him. I'd compare it to Gargano at the moment. Losing to Ciampa broke him. So I think that it's sort of similar lines.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Other mentions as well. Okada so far, Omega, the new world champion, is undefeated so far.
He is.
But what's very intriguing about this, and you noticed this, we talked about this off air about in the recent Being the Elite book. Omega may have had a secret of why he's winning, and now he may have passed it on to a fellow Bullet Club member.
Exactly. He's been reading how the Will to Win, I think it was called, wasn't it?
It's something like that, yeah.
Or how to win, and that was how he was winning his matches in the G1. Hangman Page, who despite having so many great matches, has not been getting the wins. He'd only had one win, and that was through DQ against Bad Luck Fale. So Kenny has given the book to Hangman, and it's had an instant impact because the first match after that, he beat Togi Makabe, wasn't it? Yeah. He beat Togi Makabe. So, and it's now we record this show here tonight on a Friday. Saturday is the next round of matches.
Yeah.
In B block.
So we're only covering
Kenny's first match without the book. So it's interesting to see what will happen there. He's going up against Tomohiro Ishii as well.
And that's a match that he can easily lose.
He could easily lose that one.
Yeah. He has a checkered history.
And the thing is, Omega, of course, is on 12 points. Ishii's on 8. Ishii's on 8.
Yeah.
If Ishii used to get to the 10, that would make things very interesting.
And Omega has historically had a checkered record against Ishii. Especially the main one that comes to mind. I think was it last year he lost to Ishii in the New Japan Cup. I think it was in the first round as well.
Yeah. But then he did, of course, beat Ishii in the finals of the US title.
In the meantime, going back to Hangman Page has probably been one of the best performers of the entire tournament for me. Like, even though results have gone against him, for me he's been one of the most impressive guys to watch because he's having a great match with everybody.
Yeah.
So, but maybe, who knows, this book could turn the losses into wins now.
Possibly.
Well, just now, what we're going to do is we're going to just briefly do a rundown of the last 4 days of the New Japan. So from day 10 to day 13. So from last Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday's action. So if you listen to this on a Saturday and you're wondering we haven't covered that, it's because we're not recording the show by then. Simple as that. We'll cover that next week. That's the way it is. But matches that stand out in those days, you have to watch the match between Kota Ibushi and Tomohiro Ishii. Mm-hmm. Like, here's the thing with Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi, I think, is becoming one of the best wrestlers in the year for me. Simply because he can wrestle almost any style.
Yeah,
he's probably one of the best hybrid wrestlers in the world. Like, the best hybrid wrestlers in the world for me is him and Omega, and I'm starting to see twinkles, if you like, of Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They're best hybrid wrestlers, if you like. Mm-hmm. Here's Ibushi against a brawler like Ishii. So Ibushi against Ishii, the names are similar, and it's literally back and forth. Like, it's one of these matches where both men are trying to survive the best their opponent has to offer, and it's one of those matches you just get sucked into, like, big time. Like, and the atmosphere just brings it, like, you know. So, and like, it also shows how good his selling is as well, which I think is something that is very underrated for Ibushi at times. Do you reckon? Because he's such a good athlete.
Yeah. I think it's the fact that,
again, it's because he's like a hybrid type of wrestler. Something he does very well is sometimes focus more and more on the other things he does well. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I can understand what you're trying to say. See, it's a weird one for Ibushi with me, because, like you were saying, he's so good. He should be more, how can I say, not more over, because he's over. Everyone knows he's so over. It's unbelievable. But more widely acclaimed he should be, because
Ibushi?
Yeah.
He is already, I think. Do you think he's underrated?
Yeah.
And
I think it's down mostly to
well, maybe from an international point of view, maybe. I
think that's what it is. It's
from a casual fan's
I hate
point
saying
of view.
it's the origin, but I think it's the fact that it's the ethnicity that he hasn't gone around Europe more often, as well.
Maybe,
you know.
But the thing is, as well,
I think, like, I'll be honest with you, I did not know a lot, if anything, about Kota Ibushi
before the Cruiserweight Classic. I heard of him, alright. When I first heard about New Japan, I heard of him, like, oh wow, he's in this tournament, so that's awesome. So obviously I heard of him, like, but
and then he took a bit of a break after that.
Yeah, well, that was to really, like the reason if you look at the history that he had with Kenny Omega, that played a big reason into that, like, because he broke it, like that, like it was heartbroken when he joined the Bullet Club.
Yeah,
like, and he was involved in one of the last matches he had before his break is he challenged AJ Styles, who was then IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah,
and Omega and him had a stare down, because this is when Omega was a junior heavyweight champion. And there was like this moment where they just stared at each other, but he didn't want to interfere, so he just went down. But the time that was spent from that cost enough time where he did the Phoenix Splash, but AJ reversed it into a South Splash, and so the match was won. So, but as I said, this match for me is a match of the year contender for me now. So you have to, if you haven't seen this, you have to check it out.
I'll have to go and see it. Yeah.
Other matches include Zack Sabre Jr. beat Tama Tonga, Juice Robinson beat Toriano, Naito beat Goto. That was a good match as well. And Kenny. Here's the thing with Kenny as well. All of his matches, even though he's undefeated, it looks like the other guy's always going to beat him. Sonata, match against Sonata, for example, was very well done. That closing stretch, was thinking, oh wow, is he going to lose here?
Well, Kenny's actually wrestling with an injury at the moment as well.
It's true.
I think he has a heel injury or something.
I heard about that, yeah, Achilles injury.
Yeah, so I think that's what's happening. I think what he's doing is he's willing to take a lot of bumps to sort of stay off his feet, because I'm sure his Achilles is killing him when he's like sort of running.
Yeah.
So
His favorite match I've seen this week was the match he had with Zack Sabre Jr., where he actually out-wrestled him to get the pin, which is actually a few people have done that to Sabre Jr. That's how Sonata beats him. He out-wrestled him.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think that's when, like, because he's so used to getting control of the submissions, I think if someone tries to outsmart him, that's his weakness. Or maybe that's a weakness he's showing, for example.
Yeah.
Especially because he probably feels very overconfident being involved with Suzuki Gun, like, you know? So it's definitely intriguing there. Here's one thing I have to ask, you know, like, because of the, like, a lot of people are saying there's a huge imbalance of the boxes here. Block B stands out way more than Block A. Do you agree or disagree with that?
The way it's been playing out, yeah. I think it's Block A has been very underwhelming this year. For sure. It shouldn't be, with the talent that's in there. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I think it's because of, especially the top three at the moment, with Omega, Naito and Ibushi all being there.
Yeah.
And then of course, like, when you have then the next three of like Sanada, Sabre Jr. and Ishii.
I think it's Goto's ahead of Ishii at the moment.
No.
Ishii's
ahead of Goto.
Well, compared to Block A, where I'll just go through the blocks at the moment, it's Tanahashi who's ahead of Block A at the moment, with 12 points, followed by Jay White and Okada.
Yeah, Jay White was on a really good run. I think he won his first three, wasn't it? And then he lost a few after that.
I don't think I still expect Okada and Tanahashi to sidestep that block now, so because Okada's found his way now.
It's always down to what happened on the last night. So if we look at, say, the 10th and the 11th of August, Friday and Saturday, Block A, you've got Tanahashi against Okada as the final day. Now, interestingly enough, Jay White is against Evil.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, on the last night. That's basically the top four at the moment facing each other.
Yeah, well, top five, I think Suzuki's in contention as well.
Suzuki is in contention. He's facing Bad Luck Fale that night, so he'll get a DQ win.
Oh, try and come and interfere then, Tamatonga and Tonga lower, okay?
And then we're looking at B blocks last night. You've got, of course, the match I think everyone's
the most anticipated match determined by far.
Ibushi against Omega. But interestingly enough, Naito is against Zack Sabre Jr. that night.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And he's having a mixed tournament so far, I feel like.
Sabre Jr. Yeah, well, he's not hitting the heights that he did last year for his debut, but he's still going steadily enough there. He's in sixth spot. He's facing Juice Robinson tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'd expect him to win that against Juice to set up a future United States title championship match.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting times ahead. So as it stands now, so by the time this goes out now, we'll know one person is in the. By the time we record the show next week, we'll know one finalist, which I think will be the Block A finalist.
Unless we record on a Thursday.
We don't know, but we possibly will. Yeah. Well, at this moment in time. What's your final? Won't call a winner. We'll call a final.
I'm still going with my final of being Ibushi against Okada.
I'm gonna go with that too.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although Naito and Omega, I would take like that book thing now really is intriguing. It wouldn't surprise me at all now if Omega went on a losing streak.
We might see a Being the Elite last episode, or episode just before the final night of stuff, where Omega's frantically looking for Hangman to get his book back. So
yeah,
something to tie into it there, you know.
Yeah, like now
because Omega could easily go on a losing streak. He's got how many matches is left for Omega? I think he's got 3 left. Three left, yeah. So he's going up against, like, I can see it because if you look at it, he's facing Ishii. If he loses that one, he can be like, right, okay, look, I lost with Ishii. We've had a checkered past. It can't be down to
who's
the
second last.
It can't be down to the book.
Who's second last?
His second last one is Toriano.
which
if he loses to Toriano,
ouch.
Then he can start to go mental. Where's the book? Where's the book?
I bet if he does lose that match, it will be something to do with like him being taped to the railing or something like that.
They could do a storyline
which almost happened to him last time.
Hangman gives the book to Ibushi to give to Omega, but does Ibushi give him the book back before their match?
That won't be done on the ring. That'll be so done backstage.
That'll be done on the Being the Elite. Oh, imagine if they did an episode like that. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
No, I know.
It's
I
fancy
know the
booking.
books. I know the books listen to the show, so lads, you can have that one for free. You can have that storyline there for free.
Yeah,
just send me some free teas. That's all
Oh,
I need to do.
okay.
You know?
Still, it'll be very interesting to see what happens between there and then. Anyway, let's move on now. Let's talk about something we've been waiting for a whole week to talk about now, and a few weeks to talk about as well. Let's get on to our review of Phoenix Wrestling's debut show. So, Phoenix Wrestling's first show that took place in the Kino in Cork. The music you're playing in the background is Billy Bedlam's new theme song.
I love it.
Which is
do you know the graphics? I love the graphics.
They're on YouTube, you know that?
What, his graphics?
Yeah.
Things? It's fantastic. Whoever did them up from, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So this is a remix of obviously the Cranberries' classic song Zombie. So to
be fair though, that wasn't my favourite song that I heard for an entrance music. My favourite was Flight Modes.
what was there? They did a classic.
It was a
something?
different version of Smash Mouth's song.
Hey now, you're a rockstar.
Rockstar, yeah.
Oh, that was such a class song.
But
yeah.
I don't know who sang their version that they had.
Oh, God knows.
But I love the Smash Mouth one. I know, I was just singing along to that all the way down. I was actually disappointed when it ended.
We'll get onto it anyway, but well, first of all, we have to say, like, you know, like there's been obviously a lot of hype gone into Phoenix Wrestling. Like, Luke and Karen have been working very hard, and putting everything together. But did you expect the turnout they had?
Crazy, isn't it?
Like people refused at the door.
People were refused at the door, and I was sat actually close to the door, and the amount of people that like popped their head in to see what was going on.
Oh, really?
And then we're talking to the obviously the security guy in the door, asking if they could come in, and obviously being told no, you can't because it's full. Crazy.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
To the point where they had to readjust where the stage was by pushing
There was a
the
little
VIP
VIP
seats.
area there, wasn't
Yeah,
there,
and
with
that
tables and everything.
It wasn't so VIP after that, was it?
Well, they still got their seat.
Yeah, true. Yeah, left like a good crowd now, like standing behind them, though. So, but it was a class event, though. Like so, so it was Jay Money, Keane, Corporate Keane, and Tony Kelly introduced to the show. Shout out to Keane, obviously. I haven't heard him. I'm very curious to hear how he sounds in commentary, but knowing how he gets on.
I was listening to the free match, or watching, I should say, the free match that they put out on their YouTube.
Oh, they put up a free match?
Flight Mode against the More Than Hype.
Which is, oh, yes.
There, some people's match of the night, not mine, but look.
We'll get into it.
What was I going to say? But yeah, they sounded really good.
Absolutely.
Keane was so cool. Do you think he was doing it for years?
That's the thing. And he's so.
And of course, Tony is experienced at doing this anyway. He knows his shtick.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I was talking to Keane, and I think he was like he's so in awe of the whole thing. Like, you know, like even when I went home with him, Keane, and with him and Nathan, and he wouldn't shut up about it until we eventually went to sleep. So so it was good. Anyway,
you did the day trip, didn't you? You went down and then got the bus back later on that night. Didn't you?
Thankfully, like last time I took the bus from Cork, actually it wasn't for wrestling. It was for where my band played. And I went straight to the airport and go to town. So I had to take a taxi. Okay. So thankfully I had to be very clear. Listen, is this going to the city centre in Dublin?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay, Grant, in you go. So
was that your attempt at a Cork accent?
It was my attempt at a Cork accent.
That was
awful. I'm not supposed to be a man of accents. I'm not, you know this. We'll go on to the matches anyway. What?
Then why try them?
Because every time I try to do a Cork accent, I speak like this. I apologise to anyone from Cork.
That was better. Towards the end, that was better.
Thank you. There was only 3 words.
Work
from
on
that
it,
person.
you can get it there eventually.
I love to hear yours. The Armstrongs against Collar and Elbow was the first match.
To do it.
I know. Excuse me, you did a few accents in this show. You can't deny that.
Oh no, I have, yeah.
Remember that Irish one you did before? Or Scottish one? Oh, there was a sailor one. Well, let me tell you about this whole past we did before.
What?
You did that before when you were explaining about how your great-great-grandfather wrestled someone.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
It's on the bloopers.
I'm sure it is.
I'm
sure it's somewhere in the archives.
The Armstrongs took on Collar and Elbow in the first match. Very funny altercations in this match, obviously. Like, the Armstrongs are so much fun to watch, aren't they?
Yeah. They are.
They're really becoming. There's an argument that they're probably the best team in the country at the moment.
It's so hard to tell because there's so many great tag teams at the moment.
It's getting really good again.
There's so many, and of course, as they were announced just yesterday, or was it today? Sorry, today, Friday.
Yeah.
Yesterday when you listen to the podcast or the show.
Yep.
That they'll be taking part at Grapple Games next week.
Grapple Games.
Yeah.
Against the Enterprise.
Against the Enterprise, yeah. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be really good. Speaking of fantastic tag teams, and probably an underrated tag team, Enterprise.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. In terms of this match, though, Justy is hilarious as always, because there was times when I think he was he was almost surprised that he was over in the crowd, so. but at the same time, he was also.
Well, he was also. Well, he wasn't so much. See, the thing is.
He has his vicious streak as well, though.
Yeah, he definitely does. There was a big crowd from Dublin there as well.
There was.
And I think that sort of delved into sort of the cheering and who's supposed to be the face and who's supposed to be the heel, because I saw it was some very interesting booking.
Very interesting.
During the night.
The whole night.
And so.
Including this match.
Yeah.
Including this match. Where, obviously, Justy and it had his hilarious but vicious side as well at stages.
Even
I think
Alexander Dean getting involved in the funnies.
Of course, yeah.
Was it on his agenda to be funny in Cork? Was it?
I imagine it's in his list somewhere. I think I said it to Sylvia, right?
Because she was at Trinity Brawl as well.
Okay.
And I said to her, I would love, because if he wants to make Collar and Elbow the heel team, he needed to bring that line out about Michael Collins again.
Oh, but
he needed to.
I was almost half expecting it myself. If I'm honest.
It would have been brilliant.
Yeah, but probably been a riot though, because it's in Cork. I dare him. Listen, if you're listening, Dean, I dare you to say that line in Cork, but
it would have worked so well.
I don't think it's a Armstrong's match either without a bit of nipple biting or nipple grabbing from Butch Armstrong. Nipple biting at one stage.
Nipple biting. Oh.
But anyway, the match ended when everyone was down. Everyone was down in the match until Debbie Cattell came out.
Yeah.
In all black and chains, and tried to seduce Marion Armstrong before low blowing him.
Dark Debbie.
I like it. And it helps Justy get the win over Marion. P.S. The penis is still there. It's interesting. This is what we talked about. This is what you. I presume this is what you mean by the booking, in the sense that it's now a cliffhanger gone into the next show.
There was some fantastic, pardon the pun, hooks in this, not in just this match, but in a good few matches. That's the perfect thing that can get people to go to the next one to see what's going on. We'll get into the other ones later on, of course, but this was one of them too.
Absolutely.
Why, Deb? Why? And that's what I actually was talking during the intermission with Jay Money.
Right.
He was doing an Instagram live thing.
Yeah.
Really good idea.
Oh, were you in that Instagram?
I was in that I was chatting with Jay Money we were talking about that. And that's what we're both really interested to find out why. Why, Debbie? Why?
Why, Debbie? Why?
Why, Dark Debbie? Why?
Why, Dark Debbie? Anyway, LJ Cleary took on Steve Savage. This was actually a very good fast-paced match. Actually, I really enjoyed this.
Another interesting booking as well. LJ going back to more of heel LJ here.
And you almost forget how good he is as a heel as well, because he's more face almost everywhere at the moment, isn't he? But he's so good as a heel as well. That's where he really sunk his teeth into, before he's as not well known as he is now. Calling Cork and Limerick inbreds, for example. But it was a really good paced match, and ended with Savage winning by a sunset flip reversal. But it was very back and forth. So it was a good match. And again, the Dublin crowd.
Steve Savage he should go back to Limerick to draw on people.
His Morton Hype compatriots Darren Carney and Nathan Martin took on Flight Mode in what a lot of people consider a match of the night.
Note as well. Congrats to all three lads making their TNT Ignition, I think it was called, debut.
In Liverpool
during the week. The lads from Morton Hype were in a tag team match, and of course LJ Cleary was defending his.
He's a champion there, isn't he?
He's defending his the OTT gender neutral championship.
Oh, okay.
He was defending it against. Is it Sephora, I think the name was.
Okay.
I'll get the name up now in a second.
Well, while you're on that, we'll talk about this match between Flight Mode and Morton Hype, which a lot of fans could consider match of the night. Very innovative tag moves from both teams, especially Morton Hype. Like, they must have had like a 5-move sequence at one stage, I think, where it was like, I couldn't tell you move for move what it is, but it was a very fast move by some terrific high flying as well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Matt Schuyler is like a feather. He's literally a feather with like his tornado DDT, and his high flying is it's almost frightening to watch because like it's almost with no fear. I've never seen someone, or I can't remember someone who can
Visage.
It's LG's appearance.
Yeah.
Well, I never seen. Can you name another high flyer who has the balance that he has to stay up on the top rope for as long as he has? Because it felt like forever until he eventually jumped off.
Oh, the Matt Schuyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that was crazy.
It was like it was mad to watch.
That was my first time seeing Flight Mode, and
really,
yeah.
Only your first time? I've seen it a few
no,
times now.
I've seen them in battle royals and stuff. Never in like singles matches. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of what is to come from the lads that in the mode of flight.
Axel Jeffries is the other guy.
Flying matches and high flying with Matt Schuyler and the guy called
Axel Jeffries. Does Axel Jeffrey
they jump high?
You should have a minute.
I was waiting for you to stop.
Axel Jeffries, I noticed, to me, he has a whiff of Ryan's smile about him. Do you notice that yourself?
Say it again, sorry?
A whiff of Ryan's smile to him.
Little bit.
The way he moves, the way
Hopefully he
reacts.
knows how to use Twitter better than Ryan's smile.
We won't get to that. But in the end, it was Morton Hype who won with their super kick, double hook, pile driver, double move, and respect was played by both teams. Very entertaining match. Listen, I think Morton Hype, I'd love to see them in Dublin. They told me that's their goal, like they want to be contenders soon, and there's a huge argument after seeing this match.
Keep having good matches there, and we obviously know that the guy in charge of contenders was there as well.
He was.
So, impress him, and then you probably get there. Like, you went up to PWU, so they're obviously making waves. So give it a bit of time, lads, and I'm sure they will be there.
The fabulous Nicky had his talk show called In the Nick, where he interviews William, Bedlam's puppet. Again, we both love Bedlam's new music, by the way. Yeah, in the background there. J Money quoted this by saying, "I thought I had woods."
Yeah,
that's all you can say to that.
Sorry. Should I be laughing?
No, I suppose not. Bedlam ended up attacking Nicky, starting an improv 2 match. What?
I'm laughing.
Oh.
Sorry.
Is there something?
I'm in a very weird mood.
Is something in your monster or something like that?
I don't know what it is. I could be a little tired as well. I don't know. It's first week in the new job, so getting myself used to getting up at like 7 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that.
I see. You're like a penguin in the microwave right now. Anyway, standing moments.
What?
I'll explain later. It's figure of speech.
How the hell do you even get a penguin in a microwave? You are not putting baby penguins in microwaves, Dave, are you?
No.
Fair enough.
It's a figure of speech.
You better not.
Standing moments were like or standout moments where Nicky's stalling suplex and Bedlam's Rick Steiner tributes, where he did the headbutts on him. I think that Rick Steiner did something like that before. And it was funny when someone in the crowd shouted Gabbo. I think someone after that said, everyone, what's the quote he says in the middle of it? Like, everyone is SOBs or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was the quote, yeah. All the kids are all SOBs.
Yeah. That'll handle those SOBs. Yeah. And ended up with Nicky winning after a super kick, using William to pin him as well at the end of the match. It was announced after this match that on August 24th they'll be back in the Kino,
including a kiss to Sela as well.
Oh, that's Nicky and Foxy.
Yeah.
It was announced on August for August 24th they'll be back in the Kino for "Oops, We Did It Again."
Great name.
Great name. Yeah. They had like a version of Britney Spears song as well in the background for that.
Dun, dun. Na 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 na. Dun, dun.
Is there alcohol in that monster, man?
Dun, na 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 na. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry.
Be Cool took on.
I've been away for 2 weeks. I've had all this pent up messing.
Be Cool and Team P. Rick took on the Wards in a 3-on-2 handicap match. Or it was more like, the thing is though, the Team P. Rick were almost like 2 people in one. because every time Big Cool's tag team debut came in.
Yeah.
I think there's one stage. Just the funny parts of this match included where Peter, I think, was tangled on the mic at the start. Did you notice that? No, I think he tripped on the microphone or something like that. It was tangled around it like a snake. Yeah, and then obviously Be Cool being Ric Flair.
Yeah, that was good.
I
spent a lot of the time at the bar for this match.
You were telling me about this. Yeah.
Waiting in line, because a lot of people got drinks at the same time. It was my own fault for getting up at that time.
Okay.
But I was chatting to a few people during the match.
Right.
And I have to give a shout out to Fiacre, because he says he's a keen listener to the show.
Cool.
And I didn't know he'd reach as far as Cork, but that's always good to know.
We have a few listeners in Cork, I think.
I know. I think all our listeners are in Cork.
No, I don't think so. but a nice portion of it.
We'll have a few from Limerick after September.
We'll get into that now.
So shout out Fiacre. Thanks for listening to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fiacre.
Continue to listen and watch, and hopefully, we will be able to continue going to the Phoenix shows, so we can do in-person reviews.
Moments of the match, anyway, going back to the Be Cool team, Peter Rick in the Wards match. Moments of the match include Peter being gorilla pressed out of the ring by Luther Wards.
Yeah.
Peter Rick being holding onto Power Ward's legs. I've never seen Power Ward wrestle actually until.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to the main stage wrestling show the week before. I was speaking to Gunther Isaac, and I was a bit apologetic. I'm like, sure, don't worry about it. So. And also had there's also Luther's superplex from the apron as well.
Yeah, that and I think him doing a suicide dive was crazy.
Yeah,
I think that was the moment of the match for me. And then clearing absolutely everybody. Everybody. 6 rows.
It was so funny when Be Cool then went sent. Oh, okay, you can't see my face. Luther kicked out of Be Cool's brainbuster before Wards won after pinning Peter after a power slam / neckbreaker for the win in that one. The next match was Valkyrie versus Raven Creed. This was a very solid match.
Yes, it was.
This was actually, I really enjoyed this match. This was like Raven is as vicious as he always is. Like solid chops from both ladies as well, and some really terrific altercations between them as well. Like these two are like it's like Raven is one of these wrestlers who can probably have a good match with anybody now. Yeah. But I think her matches, especially with Debbie and Valkyrie, are the ones that really stand out. So, like, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're getting into, like, these girls are getting to know each other so well that they're having these fantastic.
They already
matches,
know each other so well.
With the likes of Debbie and Valkyrie training together too. But Raven is just on another level.
That's it.
On another level at this stage, and she's getting the recognition now up north. She's getting it obviously in Dublin, being on the contender shows and on the main shows as well, of course. And she's involved in the WrestleRama show, isn't he? In the 6-woman tag match. What team is she? Is she on? She's on Debbie's and Valkyrie's team.
That's
isn't
it.
She? Yeah.
It's the newbies. It's the
newbies against the established.
That's it. If you like, so the contenders against the main rosters, if you like. So. Raven won after countering Valkyrie's flip elbow into a nutbreaker. That was a very good finish for that match, wasn't it? So that match was a
backbreaker.
Yeah, no, that's called a nutcracker. Sorry, the nutcracker. That's how Kalito used. Like it was a code breaker on the back instead. So that match was a personal favorite for me, though. So I really enjoyed that. We talked about the Mae Young Classic actually at the start of the show. If there's any woman from Ireland, I think it'd be Raven Creed. That could be in that tournament. I'm just saying, if there's any woman I'd pick, it'd be her.
I'd love to see it. If there was any woman, realistically, and she wasn't there on Saturday, but you'd have to think it'd probably be Katie.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I can see what you mean. Yeah. The main events then: Michael May, Bruiser, Ricky Combat, and Terry Thatcher. This was a very, very good main event.
In the words of the iconic JR, it was a slobber knocker.
And match of the night, which the main event should be.
Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant match. Started off with a 4-way headlock. And then...
But then, like, I think, what is it, at stages, like, each person took a turn of being at the front. Wasn't it?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Terry Thatcher does his thing. Like, he sells his heart out. Yeah. Like, that backdrop, for example. Where he, like, it looks like he was literally going to hit his head against the canvas. And being suplexed to the floor then, I think it was...
Being suplexed, and that floor had no protection.
Nothing at all. I told him this as well, and I told a few people who was watching it with. Terry Thatcher reminds me of, you remember Mikey Riprack from ECW? Yeah. Now, Mikey Riprack, when he started in ECW, he had no offensive. Well, he had no offensive moves. I'm not saying Terry's like that, but every time he took a beating, you feel so sorry for him.
Yeah.
Especially with all the chops he takes, like you know.
Exactly. You just see the chest well up, and then you just say, "Oh my god."
And it's often enough now. It happens now. So
yeah.
So it's like, ugh. So some very good high flying, like from May especially, who was very good heel, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen Michael May as a heel before. Like he does it in PW, but
it does it in PW. I've never seen it before. Yeah. Well, he started to turn a little bit heel there at the end of like episode 5.
Yeah.
So.
Highlights of the match though were the triple submission, where Terry Thatcher had the sharpshooter on Combat, May had the octopus stretch on Thatcher, and then Bruiser had a sleeper on May. So like, and they had Bruiser's chops, which were, and the scrap that Terry and Butcher had, to go all the way back for their IWW days.
Yeah.
The Frankensteiners, Pal Drivers, and Combat's Danielson special on May, stopped by Terry Thatcher Splash, like just stuff like that, where like I've never seen a Daniel Splash from anybody in God knows how long. That's a very rare submission. That was Daniel Bryan's submission during his Ring of Honor days. The match was won then by the neck breaker for Terry Thatcher on Combat. After the match, all 4 men had a beer together, with Terry acknowledging everyone in the ring. Then Ricky smashed his...
No, not everyone together. No, wasn't everyone together.
The 4 of them?
Michael May was thrown out of the ring by everyone.
Oh, yeah. It's like, no, I don't want your beer. So, sorry, all 4 men. So it was 3 men then with Jay Money as well, if I think I meant by that. And he acknowledged, obviously, him and Terry, him and Bruiser have known each other for years. I acknowledged Ricky Combat because he doesn't know much about him, but he respects him. And as soon as he says that, one more thing, bang! Ricky hits his beer bottle to Terry's head in a very shocking heel turn. Yeah. Very shocking.
Well, it wasn't shocking for me.
Why is that?
Because I remember, and I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but I was at when we were at one of the CCW shows before.
Right.
I was talking to some of the guys, and they were like Ricky needs to turn heel. And I think that's what he's needed for ages. And I think now that he's going to be heel, I think he is just going to soar now.
I think you're right.
I think exactly what he needed.
Because the heat he got from it as well.
I know. Unbelievable.
Because think about it as well. We haven't really seen Ricky Combat wrestle outside of Cork.
No.
This could be
and I don't know why. I really don't know why. He's definitely talented enough to do it.
Oh, definitely.
Like even up north, he could. They're kind of more tag team focused at the moment, but beforehand, I don't know why they haven't. But
at the moment, at this moment in time, there anyway. Yeah. So
I don't know why. Like there's Uprising there now as well. I'd love to see him involved in something down here in Dublin.
Absolutely.
You know.
But again, that's another match that's a cliffhanger going to the next show.
It's the hook. It's the hook to keep you interested. And we'll probably get some sort of promo leading up to it to find out why. Or maybe a promo at it.
It makes more sense to do a promo at it rather than beforehand. It really does.
To find out why. And it's good because you've already now, by doing this, you've already put him in a main event slot. And probably as the front runner for whenever you decide to bring a title in.
Which I imagine won't be too far away.
Exactly.
But anyway, overall, this show, for me, was class from top to bottom.
It was a fantastic start.
Like, here's the thing.
I've never been, you think that, because it's in a sort of not strange place, because Cork is quite secluded.
Not really.
It is a little bit.
No, I disagree with you. But look,
in terms of...
It's a big enough city. It's not compared, it's small compared to Dublin, but it's still a nice little town.
Like I'm trying, it hasn't got that following like Dublin has, but I think the fact that he put on such a good show is going to get not only people in Cork wanting to keep going to it, but it's going to get people like from Dublin wanting to go down to it now.
It's going to be so much easier for them to sell tickets, that's for sure. Anyway, so here's the thing: I was talking to Alexander Dean after the show, and I was saying to him, I can't fault anything from the show. I'm like, Dave, come on, there has to be something. I'm like, I can't. I really can't. I can fault you if you want, but I can't fault, or not, I can't fault anything.
I can think of one.
What's that? So you're about to do this, and I am too positive about this stuff.
You just don't want to upset anyone, do you?
Well, to be fair, like I'll call it as I see it, but I just can't find this to this time.
I think like these things are totally understandable because it's their first show,
right?
So it's not anything to be upset by. It's not anything to point out saying they need to fix this soon, because they probably know themselves.
Right.
I feel that the seating kind of hampered
That's
in
fair
terms
enough.
of it's a very small venue and they wanted to fit as many people in as possible. Certain sections you could have seated in, like, you know where I was sitting on the hard camera side.
Right.
If you got rid of those seats, put up some barriers and had just standing there,
right,
you could have fit so much more people in. Keep the seats where they were on the other 3 sides. I think would have been absolutely fine. But I think you could have fit more people in standing at that side.
Well, I think they didn't realise how big of a big crowd was going to come in.
These are if I'm looking for something to criticise.
Yes.
And it's their first show. They didn't know if they want... Because I remember they were saying on their own social media that they didn't know if they were actually going to have seating yet or not. So obviously that would have been either on the day or on the week of it that they decided, right, we're going to put seating in.
I was a bit surprised they had seating, actually. Thought about yourself.
I'm not surprised that they had seating. I'm surprised that they had all seating.
Yeah, okay.
Then there was... This is totally out of their control as well. It was just some issues with the bar as well. Just in terms of there was very long lines. People didn't understand where the line was, so there was people cutting and there was a lot. Like, that's nothing to do with Phoenix. That's not their fault. It seems as though the pumps on the bars were quite slow as well, because the points were crawling out. They were. Yeah. You know, but like I said, not their problem.
In terms of the wrestling, though.
In terms of the show put on itself, in terms of apart from the little problem with the mic at the start, but look, don't even care about that. Forget about it. In terms of the show, the spectacle that we were watching, can't fault anything.
Very entertaining action, like the more than hype and flight mode. Raven and Valkyrie and the main event were the highlights. Clever but simple
all
booking.
Irish as well.
It was.
That's it's all Irish. Not crazy at all. It's not. I was going to say that's the crazy thing, but it's not crazy at all.
It shouldn't be.
It's not,
because Irish wrestling's in such a boom right now. The crazy but simple, clever but simple booking made us leave us wanting more for their next show on August 24th, especially with Debbie Cattell attacking Marion and the Ricky Combat heel turn. So I can't wait for the next show. I really can't.
Yeah.
So kudos to Phoenix. So well done for that. So
you get a Dave applause.
Dave applause.
You get a Dave applause.
That's my version of Mars bars, if you like. I
Dave applause.
Dave applause. Anyway, that's our review of Phoenix Wrestling. When we return,
Dave applause. Dave.
Just be quiet.
Dave applause. No, it doesn't matter.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will continue our results of the week with WWE's action after a short break.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grolix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grolix Podcast. Listen to it at grolixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide.
We're back here on the Kickout, your pro weekly wrestling guide.
Now let me tell you something. During the break.
Are you
going to repeat everything I say?
Are you going to repeat everything I say?
What's in that monster? You just took a big gulp of Monster before we came on air, and I think he's drunk as a result of it now, or high, or whatever the definition for sugar.
Is Daragh drunk? We'll find out. Dun, dun,
how much would we chuck butcher cut your quotes?
What? Sorry.
You love your new job, don't you?
I love the routine, Dave. I love the routine. It was my first 3 days.
Can we move on?
I love the routine.
Can we move on? It's up to you. Let's go on to the results of WWE. The heck, you're making faces at me and everything now.
Yeah.
God,
You know what it is, David? You know what I think I'm excited?
What?
It's because in the first time ever in my working life,
Right.
I have a bank holiday weekend off that I haven't had to book off or gotten off by luck. It's just given to you because I have this new job.
Feel better about yourself?
Yes, and it's not retail. Oh my God, it's not retail.
Well, let's talk about as a result of your new job, I don't think you're able to catch up as much with WWE lately yourself.
Well, any chance of me watching stuff live is completely gone out the window.
That's fine. I totally understand that. So, but I think the only WWE thing you've been looking at yourself is basically the memes concerning Brock Lesnar, which have been a thing this week online.
Like, the best thing about WWE this week that I've seen has not been the actual
Anything to do
wrestling,
with WWE.
has not been a promo, has been the memes being created by Brock Lesnar sitting backstage in Raw reading a magazine.
It was either a Playboy magazine with Sable on it.
That was my favourite one. That was my favourite one. The next one was, I think it was like the All-In official program was one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, it's interesting now about the way it's been booked now, because now Brock has been a complete and utter a-hole about this whole thing, to the point now where he's actually physically harming Paul Heyman for trying to convince him to go to the ring.
Everyone thinks that it's Brock turning on Paul. I don't think it's that. I think it's just Brock.
It's just Brock being an a-hole.
It's Brock being Brock.
Yeah.
And it's Brock trying to say that, look, I'm in charge here. Don't ever ask me to come. Don't ever try and order me to come out here to the ring thinking you're the boss. Because that's the whole thing. If Brock didn't come out, then
we're not friends.
Paul Heyman would have been fired, I think it was. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was like Angle.
But then, yeah, that's exactly what you were saying. Sorry, Brock is telling us, like, we're not friends. You are my advocate.
That's it. No, nothing more to it. So, do you think this, like, we heard about all this stuff before about like ways of Roman could try and get some cheer. Is this working? It feels like it might be.
Yeah.
Their plan is working. I'm not complaining. I think it like criticize it all you want, but the fact is they found a way of how Roman can somehow be more over than
were
Brock.
they actually cheering for Roman because they want Roman to come out, or were they actually cheering for Roman because they would have known that
They cheered him when he punched Constable Corbin.
Yeah, well, everyone will do that. But they were actually saying we want Roman when Brock was out there and the show was ending. I think they wanted Roman out there just so they can get beaten from Brock.
The question is simple at this point: will the crowd care at SummerSlam, or will they just rebel again?
No, crowd won't care.
Crowd won't care.
No.
I'm intrigued to disagree. Like, it could be. I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway.
No, crowd won't care. And if they do, it will quickly turn.
Probably. That's fine then.
It will quickly turn.
What if Heyman turns on Brock and
when
joins
Roman has a longer run as Universal Champion than Brock did?
Imagine. That'd be. See, that's the thing. At least he'd be in WWE, so I won't have any problem with that. Corbin beats Finn Balor 1-on-1. To be fair, Corbin is overdue to beat Heyman, even though I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as one Irish wrestler is getting pushed, the other one is getting pushed further down.
Yeah. Like, what they had Alicia Fox, taking on Natalia. They had Fox almost manhandling Rosie at one stage. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're going to have Fox against Rosie next week, and it'll be the first Rosie match on Raw, so it should be interesting to see how that pans out.
Interesting that it's Fox against Rosie. With the whole, remember the video came out with Fox going after Rosie's husband?
Is that right?
Yeah.
It'll be literally a squash match. I expect it to be a squash match. Have you heard the license of that new album yet?
No.
Do you intend to?
Yeah. I'll sit down and listen to it for sure.
I'm curious about it myself.
Yeah.
Like, he did a bit of a promo about it. The show was in Miami, and he criticised Miami in general, especially like, the only good musician they have is Pitbull, who wasn't even a good musician in his opinion. So, and it leads to a bit of a rivalry now with Bobby Lashley now. So, although I must recall a quote that that Jonathan Coach said in commentary when Lashley, when I think Elias attacked Lashley from behind. Quote from Coach: Lashley didn't appreciate Elias from behind. End quotes.
He's so bad. He's just so bad.
I don't know. Like, he has his good and bad days, but what's going on?
I don't think he even has his good days. I think Coach is just. I'm gonna say
No.
it. Coach is. He's and I can say it because it's not a curse.
Yeah, but I still have to take it. Yeah, but I still have to edit that
No,
afterwards.
you
man.
don't.
I do.
Don't you dare.
It's a radio show.
Don't you dare.
It's a podcast, but it's still on the radio. We try to be a family show, but you don't help.
So I'm not a family man, Dave.
You're my.
You can't tie me down to no family.
I blame the monster.
Don't even try.
I blame the monster. You had Mojo and Bobby Roode having the brawl. You had Apollo beating Akeem 1-on-1 from AOP. The whole thing with Bailey and Sasha Banks now. Like now they're back together as a tag team. I mean, like what? Like it just seems like is that it now? Or are they going to fight again? Or
I don't care.
like again?
I don't care.
Let's be honest about Raw. It is still a chore to watch. It is still a chore.
Yeah, it is.
But there was some good build this week, mainly with Brock and Roman. I'm more intrigued about this match, I have to be honest.
But you know how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm okay with that though.
I'm not.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm not. I'm just not okay with how it's going to go. Like,
What, you'd rather Roman win the title?
no, that's how I think it's going to go.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? It's
No,
good. It's
no,
way
I'm
better.
talking about not the result. Sorry, not the result, but how the match will play out and stuff. And it's what we've seen before. I'm just not into it.
Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
I'm just not.
You don't feel to
Dave,
watch.
don't be saying that. That's no.
That's your pee break match.
That will get you in trouble.
What are you talking
The
about?
main event. He'll be going home at that stage.
Yeah, even better. Even better. I can get a night's sleep. And then
It's
you-
like one of those people that like leaves a football match in like the 85th minute because they want to catch the train and beat the crowd.
Yeah, but it depends on the situation. If it's a 5-0 as opposed to a 1-1, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On SmackDown, anyway, SmackDown was actually very good this week. Like, you're talking about Becky, like, is getting a bit more of a push now.
Mm-hmm.
But now, and here's the thing now, like, she had a promo, now Charlotte is back. She beat Carmella, and now she's in this match now at SummerSlam.
Yay.
You sense a heel turn from Becky?
No, I'd say you're getting more likely a heel turn from Charlotte.
I would love to see a heel turn from Becky, though.
No.
No?
They'll go Charlotte.
What if Charlotte wins and Becky attacks her? Like the face that Becky made when Charlotte won the match, for example. I sense it. It could happen.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be... Charlotte.
Joe, like this, to be fair, SmackDown didn't have too many matches. It was only 3 matches and the rest was promos, wasn't it? But it was still a good show because like the people who did the performance
SmackDown's the A show.
It is the A show.
Well, B show. NXT's the A show.
Joe is on form with his promos. Gotten very personal, like mentioning how AJ is more comfortable on the roads than being at home, being a husband and a father. So got very personal there. Jeff,
yeah, these are going to be fantastic. I can't wait for this.
I can't wait for that match as well. So Jeff had a segment where where he said he wants his title back. He felt like he lost a piece of himself, a US title, but Nakamura. Then Orton arrived, but then Nakamura sneak attacked him, and then Orton allowed Nakamura to hit the kin chest, and basically Orton kicks the crap out of him, including pouring water over his makeup and stuff like that, or his face paint, if you like. So, triple threat match, SummerSlam.
Yeah, and no, it was only announced actually on Friday.
What?
It's just going to be a one-on-one Nakamura against Jeff.
Okay, I'm okay with that, I suppose. What will Orton do then?
Don't know.
Just be rounds.
I probably will get involved at some stage and make it a triple threat. But at the moment, it's only classed as a singles match.
Speaking of matches at SummerSlam, surely Miz and Bryan has to happen now.
Did you see the backlash that promo actually got?
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard Daniel Bryan was in a bit of trouble backstage as a result.
No, actually, I didn't know about that one. I'm talking about the Randy Orton one.
No.
Because I didn't see the Daniel Bryan segment, so I don't know.
No.
But the Randy Orton one where he was putting the water and everything in Jeff, people compared it to waterboarding.
What?
Yeah.
I understand.
You know what waterboarding is, don't you?
I'm actually not sure I understand what it is.
It's a torture technique used by Americans before. It was done in Iraq, where they tie someone to like a flat board, like how Jeff was on the table. They'd put a towel over the face,
yeah.
and then pour water. But obviously there was no towel on Jeff's face.
That's not even the same
But
thing.
why? It's not even close to the same thing. He was pouring a bottle of water on Jeff. It's
to remove his makeup, not to make him drown.
Yeah, exactly. It was people just looking for something out of nothing.
But anyway, this segment between Bryan
People
and Miz,
looking for something to be offended by. That's what it is.
well, back to Miz and Bryan though, is like Miz was like you were saying how Miz's protection is gone now since he came back out of retirement, but then Miz appeared on screen saying, still calling him, Miz says that there's a lot of back and forth between them, but then in the end it was like it's kind of hard to describe, but he basically called Bryan a baby essentially by just saying this big video with all these babies crying. But it looks like a match could happen between them now at this stage now. So
What's the trouble that he got in for?
I don't know exactly. I think it's something that was mentioned in this promo. Like it was when Miz appeared on screen. Bryan said he has to prove himself worthy. Miz hypes the reality show, but Bryan says he doesn't care about it and wants to fight. Bryan calls him a coward. Miz brings up talking smack and says that Bryan walked away from him because all he wants is conflicts to further his career. Miz claims that he carried Bryan since NXT and made him famous in 10 minutes. Bryan says he is about passion and not fame. Bryan said the reality is Miz will never be The Rock or even John Cena. No one will ever remember you as great as he is soft. Bryan says that if Miz wants something big and challenges to match at SummerSlam, Miz ran him down, riding his cocktails, and says the yes movement is over and his career is over and everyone has moved on. And basically he had to do like a big crybaby video at the end, like so. I want that match to happen though, so big time. So but the thing is though, if that match happens, I think that could be the last match Bryan has in WWE.
Possibly. We talked about it before. The end of August, his contract is up September.
A lot of contracts are coming up actually, by the way. I'll mention it towards the end of the show. But and then as you mentioned, but anyway, SmackDown was a good show overall. Like, you had Charlotte beating Carmella down. She's in the match for the women's title. 205 then. 205, like it's a focused show, more to the point. Like they're building a match between Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak now, which will be happening at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that match. That should be awesome. They had Kalisto beat Tony Nese. They had Leo Rush basically putting under Akira Tozawa after their match last week and saying, "Oh, the jobber is more worthy," you know.
Okay.
And Cedric Alexander beats Brian Kendrick 1-on-1. But we're talking about Drake Maverick, how New Japan should have him. Him and Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher were almost about to attack Alexander after the match, but he came straight out with the referees. Maverick said, "You touch him, you lose your title shots." Proper authority.
Okay.
Proper authority.
Yeah.
No constable needed for him, you know.
Yeah.
NXT then. Now we have to talk about NXT now because a lot has changed. A very significant change was made since we were gone. Most notably, Tommaso Ciampa is now NXT champion, and a very good match between him and Aleister Black. Now we'll get onto that in a minute. Like Heavy Machinery beat the Mighty 1-on-1. Mustache Mountain pushed themselves to get a rematch for the NXT titles, which they got. It'll be them in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
EC3 versus Keanu Reeves. I describe this match as Gucci versus Argos.
No extra points for guessing who is Gucci and who's Argos.
But very interesting as well. Now, during that match, then EC3 says EC3. The Velveteen Dream came out in the middle of it, I think, that match. So, and almost cost them the match. But it was later announced by William Regal that EC3 will take on the Velveteen Dream on Takeover. I'm looking forward to that match now.
Yeah.
That's one of the matches you predicted in that top 5 video we did earlier on, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was. I'm still waiting for you to do your one.
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten to talk.
You got to think of a top 5, man.
Yeah.
You got to think of a top 5.
I'll figure something else.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler took on Kaylee. Did I say Kaylee Ray there? Candice LeRae.
Talk about this, I wonder.
What?
I guess UFC news is to do with it. I guess, and if it's close to home.
All right.
The long-awaited showdown between UFC lightweight champ Conor McGregor and current title holder Khabib Nurmagomedov
Is that official? Yes.
Is finally a reality.
Is it official?
The UFC today announced the blockbuster matchup will headline UFC 229, October 6th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Okay, it's not in Russia like a lot of people thought.
So it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough match for McGregor, though. It's Khabib. Khabib is the best pressure fighter I've ever seen.
I think how long has it been since Conor fought?
Oh,
It was last summer he did the fight with Floyd, wasn't it?
yeah. If I
And then how long before that was he in his last
at least a
UFC
year and a
fight?
half. At least a year and a half.
When did he fight Eddie Alvarez?
I can't even remember.
I'm
It was
gonna
at least
check
a year and
that.
a half. While you're on that, I'll talk about Shayna Baszler against Candice
Yeah.
LeRae. Where it
Sorry
was,
to sidetrack.
no, you're fine. It was a good back and forth match though, like because Candice LeRae doesn't give it them. She'll attack whoever you are, like, you know. But it was a good match because like it still had Baszler as the bully and Candice LeRae as the great baby face. But in the end though, it was Baszler who caught LeRae in the submission. At the end, then Kairi Sane then tried to save LeRae from getting further attacked.
Yeah.
And then Baszler tried to attack her, and the refs had to hold back Sane because she was so furious afterwards. So
Yeah, there was an interesting comment from someone. I'm trying to find it, see if I can get it. Yeah, it was from Matthew Macklin, and if you don't know, he's like
Former
one of
boxer.
the head video guys for OTT.
okay,
Yeah, and he was talking about the Candice LeRae Shayna Baszler match on NXT, and he's actually confirmed to Shane. He's actually compared, I should say. He's confirmed that Shayna Baszler is basically a female Hiromu Suzuki. He says a great match with Candice on NXT this week. That's a very, very
I can't argue with that.
big call.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
She's intimidating. She attacks if necessary. She's a bully.
Mhm.
Like I can't that's a very good call for me.
Oh, McGregor last fought in the UFC in the November 2016.
That's a long time. So it's almost 2 years.
It will be
Almost 2
It
years.
will be almost 2 years when the fight happens. Yeah.
The segments between Ciampa, Gargano and Blackton at NXT, where Ciampa arrives with no music as always, calling himself the most dangerous man involved in NXT, and a big part of him winning the championship. The best part of winning the championship is that it proved that Gargano was and always was a complete failure because he got the title that Gargano always wanted. And in the process also killed the mystique of Aleister Black. Black arrived, but before he even got to the ring, Ciampa came out like a bat out of hell, and chasing off Ciampa, noting that Ciampa is NXT. It's not Ciampa's NXT what he said around, and Ciampa is only champion because of him. We probably shouldn't have said that because Black then kicked his head off to crown the chance of you deserve it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Black said, you're right. You did cost me the title. I love how it's going. I really do, because Ciampa is such an a-hole. Gargano is still obsessed with Ciampa, but now Black's involved in this. At least we hope he still is,
Yeah.
because now we heard he's discovered he's injured now, and behind the scenes.
Yeah. He had groin surgery on Friday.
Yeah. So have to see what happens there.
Not too sure. We'll have to see. But if a singles match for the NXT Championship happens, I'm not too pissed about that either. You know, Ciampa Gargano 3, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see what happens then. A lot to look forward to in the meantime. But anyway, let's move on now with our previews of the week.
Why, look at what we have here, folks!
So a lot of big shows are coming up now. Some much anticipated shows that have been all over social media in terms of Irish wrestling for the past few months now. Obviously, next Friday, August 10th, at the Big Sean O'Casey Community Centre in Eastwell, will be Five Factory Pro Wrestling's Episode 6, The Grapple Games. They'll be happening there. The first batch of tickets are sold out, which doesn't surprise me because it's been doing so well. Whatever than lately. Apparently they might be doing a second batch, but we can't confirm it.
Oh, they're on sale.
Okay, great. Matches announced at the moment. Obviously, the big main events for the Irish Junior Heavyweight title. Jordan Devlin defending his title against Michael May, Jay Money, LJ Cleary, Sammy D, and Valkyrie. It's been confirmed, obviously, this week that the Enterprise, Liam Royal and Luke Cullen will take on the Armstrongs. There is talk about a possible rematch for the Irish Tag Team Championships between Morton Hype and Coron Elbow, but I don't think anything's been confirmed yet.
I think it looks like it's going to happen.
It's also confirmed that Doug Williams will make an appearance to that as well. So
yeah, I can't wait for that.
he's going to make a seminar in Five Factory as well, actually. So
yeah, he is. Yeah, I think it's the day beforehand, is it?
I think so, yeah, on the 11th. Oh, no, it's the day after. I think it's on the 11th, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think so, yeah. Now, obviously, the following weekend is probably one of the biggest weekends in Irish wrestling. Like, certainly for OTT anyway, like, so, but also everything else is going around in Dublin as well. Starting with Saturday, August 18th at the Arena in Slur Road in Dublin is OTT WrestleRama 2. Very, very limited tickets are still available on eventbrite.ie. It'll probably be sold out by next week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will not be able to make it due to a prior family engagement. So you'll have to enjoy it without me.
You'll have to enjoy Grapple Games because I won't be there for that.
Yeah, that's very true. Actually, you won't be at Grapple Games, will you?
Yeah, well, we'll explain more about that after the show, or towards the end of the show. Made obviously some huge matches for WrestleRama. More Than Hype will finally take on Legit 100 in a 6-man tag, with the losing team must be being forced to split up.
Yeah.
Very intriguing over that. Kings of the North will defend their OTT tag team titles against Angel Cruisers. I wonder if B Cool will be right in the head mentally, because I heard he's been getting a lot of images of a certain ghost.
I know, right? Sammy D with the big beard.
He's still around, isn't it?
It's Sammy D with a big beard. Like, he hit puberty, and he hit puberty hard. With a big beard,
Man. Well, you know what? You have to tell
it's
me.
Definitely not Justy, anyway.
Well,
Justy doesn't work for them. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you must tell me if Sammy D has a beard next week, okay?
I'll promise to tell you.
Club Tropicana will take on Aussie Open. Kushida will take on Shane Strickland. David Starr will take on Timothy Thatcher. Juice Robinson will take on Tomohiro Ishii. And in the main event, hopefully, as we said at the start of the show, Jordan Devlin will defend his OTT world title against Walter 1-on-1. So
Walter.
I'm going to say Walter.
Walter.
OTT Contenders, The Hangover 2 will be taking place the very next day, Sunday, August 19th at the Ringside Club, National Stadium in Dublin. Again, very limited tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Matches announced includes Terry Thatcher to defend his NLW title against Darren Carney.
Very interesting match.
In a 6-woman tag team match, probably the future of Irish women's wrestling against the current of Irish women's wrestling.
Is that on the Hangover show?
Yes.
I thought that was on the main show.
No. Oh. Martina, Katie Harvey and Toni Storm will take on Raven Creed, Debbie Cattell and Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Scotty Davis will take on Juice Robinson. That's an interesting match.
That's going to be really interesting.
The team of Jordan Devlin and Shane Strickland will take on Nathan Martin and LJ Cleary in the tag team match. Yeah. And Michael May will take on Sean Guinness.
That's providing More Than Hype are still a team after the night before.
Why would they book that match there, actually? It's very interesting. Who knows?
Maybe they might have to reschedule.
Who knows?
Michael May. 2 members of Legit 100 in there instead.
Possibly.
Michael May and Curtis Murray.
Yeah. Michael May's against Sean Guinness, though.
He'll have to change that match then, won't he?
Yeah, but that's a good match. That's a match between the 2-0-1s. You don't want that. You want to keep that.
So you're saying you hope Legit 100 lose on Saturday?
I'm not saying that.
Well, that's what you're saying.
That's
if you want to see the matches, that's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying at all. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, one of them has to.
You and your monster.
One of them has to.
Well, I don't know. You sound so demanding. I must have an answer. Anyway, on top of that, that weekend, the Low Blows Wrestling Parties will be back with, for the first time, a double header of parties that weekend, where, as well as their SummerSlam party that they'll be having on Buskers in the Ball in Temple Bar on Sunday, August 19th, for the first time, they'll be having a party on Saturday, August 18th for NXT's Brooklyn 4 as well. So that's very good for anyone coming from OTT. They can go straight there afterwards. So that's going to be a huge weekend, for the wrestling fans in Dublin. Tickets are still available for both events on eventbrite.ie, free for Low Blow Network subscribers. So exciting weekend ahead there, isn't it? Yeah. So it should be awesome.
Also, I think we should send a congratulations out to the guys from Low Blows, doing a fantastic job setting up the pivot show.
Oh, fantastic job. Yeah, it's such a great idea, isn't it?
Getting Phoenix, getting Fight Factory, getting PWU involved, getting all of these guys in the same place. And it's fantastic. Yeah. And anyone that subscribes to it, the money goes back to them as well.
Yeah.
So it's just props to Low Blows for a fantastic job.
Doing a great job.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll finish off our show now with our yes no's.
Yes no! Yes no! Yes no!
We actually have lots of yes no's this week. It's way more than usual, so try and get through very quickly. As we mentioned earlier on, Aleister Black to miss NXT Brooklyn 4 due to his injury.
I don't know. It's one of those, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
I hope he doesn't. I really hope
It's
he
a
doesn't.
groin surgery. He supposedly got nutted by Ciampa at a live event. I don't know how severely it is, like what he did to him. But yeah, hopefully we can get the triple threat match.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to play it by ear.
Yeah. Becky Lynch to turn heel.
No.
I hope it happens. I actually would like to see it happen.
No. Charlotte.
You know, it's something we haven't seen yet, though. You know?
I know, but they'll go to the old reliables. Charlotte.
But would you rather the surprise, though?
What?
Would you rather the surprise?
I would, but
You're being realistic about it?
yeah.
I hope. I live in hope, I guess. Daniel Bryan to leave WWE. More so after SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think if Daniel is being realistic, he's getting all these great matches now. If he signs a new deal, he could be put into another. He can put into any program that Vince or whoever wants to put him into. So he could be in another program with another big Cass. By the way, have you seen his new wrestling name outside WWE?
It's basically Big Cass.
It's Big Cass with 2 Z's. Like for
Big Cass.
I was about to curse, sorry, but
I missed that one.
but come on now. Come on.
I know.
But anyway, so
It's like Ruby Riots with one T instead of 2.
I know. But she was only going from NXT to WWE.
Yeah.
Not from WWE to the Indies. But anyway, well, I digress. But the point that I'm trying to make is with Daniel Bryan, and if he's having all these matches now, what is waiting for him after he signs a new deal? If he signs a new deal, he could be put in a program with, like I said, a big cast type like he was. We could not see him in the main picture, like the main event scene.
Right. Well, you never know.
So I think if I was Daniel, I'd look at that and look at what he's doing right now. He's a smart guy. He knows.
Yeah, I'd like to think. I'm not sure. For me, for me, he could easily stay. But imagine if he goes. Wow. Yeah. Wade Barrett to wrestle again.
I don't know why he's not.
Yeah, I think he's. I don't know. I actually don't know either. He hasn't injured, as far as I'm aware. He left because of his. Why did he leave? Actually, I think it was pursuits outside of wrestling, but he's involved with it now. Like, if he wrestles, would you think he'd wrestle with WWE? Probably not. No. Probably World of Sports.
He's got to wrestle with World of Sport.
Yeah. I'd like to see it happen, maybe for one last match. Now, Matt Riddle, Juice Robinson, and Angelico from Lucha Underground to join WWE.
203.
Yeah, the one I think is almost confirmed.
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle
is confirmed.
Yeah. Angelico is rumoured at the moment.
Well, he's everything but confirmed.
Yeah.
They're interested in Angelico. That's what I've read. They're also interested in Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr.
I heard about that too.
Yeah. The Juice Robinson thing I haven't heard
that's
about.
not going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
No, Juice Robinson.
Juice has had his run in WWE or in NXT. He's seen what it's like, and I don't think he meshes well with WWE. I think he can be more himself.
He went on record in saying that he doesn't want to be an enhancement talent for WWE. He'd rather
Exactly.
That's that. Matt Hardy to retire.
There's a lot of rumors about this now.
No. I'll have to wait and see. I don't know much about it. I have to read more into it personally.
People were like, he did this big long thing, Twitter post saying thank you to everybody and stuff like that, and everyone thought that's him. He's done. He's gone. But he was actually putting out a tweet because I think one of his longtime training friends passed away, and that's what he was saying thank you for.
Oh well, then he won't retire then for a while.
No.
Paul Heyman to turn on Brock.
It would make sense if Brock is leaving and Paul's staying around.
Yeah.
Does Roman become a Heyman guy though?
I wouldn't mind seeing that personally. I think deep down Heyman actually does respect Roman by the story.
Of course he does.
He is the other one of the 21 and 2.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So I wouldn't surprise me. I'd like to see it. Rock versus Roman Reigns in 2019.
No. Unless Roman wants to go to UFC. No.
Roman wants to go in UFC.
What did you say?
Rock versus Roman Reigns. Sorry.
Rock. Oh, you said Brock.
Oh,
Yeah,
apology.
sorry.
Apologies. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson versus Roman Reigns, 2019.
I don't want to see Roman Reigns go over on another legend, so no.
I'm not sure I want to see. I'd be intrigued.
I'm not sure I want to see. If The Rock is coming back for another match, it's not against Roman, who I want to see him go up against.
Chris Jericho to go to Impact.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's good friends with Don. A lot of Impact stars are going on his cruise.
The problem is but Jericho has gone on record to saying he feels it'd be a slap in the face to wrestle in. Like, it's one thing if it's in the cruise.
Jericho says he can do whatever the F he wants.
Yeah, but he still respects Vince.
I know he still respects. That's why he says he's not fighting for any promotion in America. That's why he's with Japan.
Yeah, so that's why I still like.
I think he wants to, but I think it's the whole Vince thing. He doesn't want to piss off Vince.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Finally, Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson to all return to New Japan next year. Apparently, New Japan really wants Nakamura back. Apparently, but Gallows and Anderson. But the reason I bring Gallows and Anderson up is because their contracts are up next year as well.
Yeah, and they're not doing a lot.
Gallows
and Anderson would make sense to go back.
Yeah,
or even go to Impact or Ring of Honor. I think could work.
Yeah.
More Japan, though.
Yeah.
I would like to see
Japan's their place. But Nakamura.
Send him back to Japan if you want. It doesn't bother me. I think he would. Yeah, I think seeing Nakamura against Naito, Nakamura Omega. Yeah. Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens there. So
saying that when Nakamura comes in,
it really depends. It really depends what they do in Nakamura. Like, but
heel Nakamura right now is killing it.
Oh, he's killing the big time. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it the way it is now, for sure. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this week on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM, the EMC Podcast Network, and all good podcasting providers. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, our Twitter at The Kickout Live, our Instagram at The Kickout Wrestling. All of our content on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. My Twitter, Dave Bandana, and Darah's at
Mars Bar.
Feels good to be back, doesn't it?
I've missed this. I have missed this. I've missed it.
No.
Even though I saw you just last Saturday.
Yeah, we missed the chance. You said when you came into the studio, you said, "Oh, it feels like I haven't talked to you in ages."
I know.
I blushed when you said that.
Oh.
If I could pro, I would. You know.
You just sweated from your eyeballs.
Anyway, we'll be back next week. Anyway, we have a lot more to cover. Anyway, like we have the conclusion of the G1's coming about anyway, and more hype going towards SummerSlam. So plenty to talk about next week.
We were going to have a prediction video. Fantastic.
Fingers crossed. But until then, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been the Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guide. Thank you so much for listening.